guys, I'm Missy. Welcome back to my channel. If you would, please like and subscribe down below. It really helps me and I'd appreciate it. So today we are going to be comparing the Wet n Wild Be Mine Honey palette with the Colourpop Honey palette. And what we're going to try to do is create a similar look. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Potion Primer. You guys might hear some rain because I live in Florida and it is pouring down the rain now, so just try to ignore it. Okay, so I'm just going to blend that primer in, eye primer in with my finger, and I'm not going to set it because I don't like to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in with a Colourpop E1, and we're going to start out with the Be Mine Honey palette, and I'm going to do that on my right eye, and I'm going to do the Honey on my left eye. So we're going to start out with number 2. These don't have names on the Wet n Wild one. So we're going to start out with number 2 here for the Wet n Wild in the crease. And this one's not going to have much pigmentation on camera because it matches my skin tone pretty well. I'm just going to grab my color switch here. Okay, so the color that is similar to that in the Honey is the Stinger color, which is the very first one in the Colourpop Honey palette. So we're just going to put that in this crease. I will say Stinger is more pigmented than the number 2 color in the Wet n Wild one. Not much more, but a bit more. As you can see, between the two, there's more pigment in the Colourpop palette. I'm just going back into the Wet n Wild Be Mine Honey palette to build it up a bit more, to try to match the Colourpop one. If you want to see the side-by-side swatches, if I don't include them in this video, you can check it out on my Instagram and my TikTok. They are both, just like this channel, SweetsMUA97. Hey guys, sorry about that. My camera shut off. What I did is I went in with the Wet n Wild Be Mine Honey in the shade number 3. And I'm just going to continue to do that and build up the outer corner. And then we're going to do the same thing in the Honey palette, but we're going to go in with Totally Buggin' in the outer V. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my NYX Glitter Primer, and I'm going to go across the lid on both sides. I just prefer to do that because it gives my shimmers an extra pop. So I'm going to do that, and we'll be right back to do the shimmers on. So I did the NYX Glitter Primer, and I applied it with the Colourpop E20 brush on my lid. We're going to go in with the Wet n Wild first, and we're going to use shade number 6 on the outer lid, and then we're going to use this pressed glitter, which is number 5, on the inner. And I'm going to try to use the E20 brush to apply. If I don't like how it applies, then I'll apply it with my finger. It actually applies pretty nicely with a brush from the Wet n Wild one. Now we're dipping into the number 5, which is the pressed glitter. I'm placing that on the inner portion of our lid. I apologize, guys. My camera's being kind of wonky today and it cut off again. But what I did is I went in to the Colourpop palette, and I'm just going to do it again. I went in the outer lid with Queen Bee and the inner lid with Palooza. I normally don't use pressed glitters, but I'm making an exception for this comparison video just because I simply don't like applying them to my eyes. I will say that both palettes have been very good at applying with a brush, so that's nice. There is a slight difference in the glitter. The Colourpop one is a little more goldy yellow, whereas the Wet n Wild one comes off a little more greeny gold. And then I'm just going to go back in the outer V in the Colourpop and use the Totally Buggin' just to deepen up that outer V. And I did the same to the Wet n Wild using the number 3 color. So here's where we're going to get a little bit different and show the uniqueness, one of the unique colors of the palettes. Whereas if you look right now, you get a pretty similar look. So if you don't have the Colourpop Honey palette, and you've been wanting it, you could get the Wet n Wild Be Mine Honey, and it's definitely a dupe, in my opinion, for it. Where at the same time, they have some unique colors in them as well, which we're about to use one from each one. So I'm going to go in the lower lash line on the Wet n Wild one with the number 7 shade, which is this kind of burgundy-ish with, it's got some glitter in it, but usually those come off like mattes instead of shimmers. So I'm just going to go in with, try to find a shader brush here. Actually, I'm going to go in with the Colourpop E11. And I'm just going to dip into the number 7 there. And I'm going to press that across my lower lash line. So this is kind of a burnt orangey shade, which if you check out my videos with the color comparisons of the unique shades on my TikTok and my Instagram, you will see that in the Be Mine Honey, its unique shades come off more orange, whereas the unique shades to the Honey come off more goldy yellow. So what I'm going to do for the lower lash line in the Honey is Buzzkill. So I'm, again, cleaning off and using the E11 brush from Colourpop. And this color is more of a dark brown. There just wasn't any other similar colors in the palette, so this is why I decided to go a little more unique under the lash line to show partial. See, this is more the burnt burgundy orange, and this is more of the brown. So off camera, I applied Honeydew to the waterline from Colourpop, and I applied the Tempt Me lashes from Beauty Creations, and for mascara I used the Essence Lash Princess Volume Mascara. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try out the lip set that was part of the the Be Mine Honey collection. So this is, I don't think it actually has a color. Oh, it says Honey Be Mine. Alright, so I guess it's the same name as the palette. So it looks like we have a lip liner and it's like a lip gloss. So I'm just gonna apply that. I think what I'm going to do is try to apply the lip liner to my whole lip. So the lip liner glides on really nicely. It's the lip liner without the lip gloss. Pretty color. So now we're going to try the lip gloss over it. It is scented, And I'm pretty sure the palette is too. Forgot to. A little bit, but not much. The lip gloss definitely is. So if you're someone who doesn't really like fragrance in their lip gloss, this might bother you because I do smell it under my nose. That's just a clear gloss over top. So pretty. It's a good everyday combo. So now I'm going to open the spray that comes with the collection. It's also Be Mine Honey. It's just a face mist, so I'm going to use it as like a setting spray. And then we'll try the highlighter face palette. Definitely has a smell too. So I think I'm going to go in with this, the goldy yellow one, because I know this one's going to be too dark. This one may be too. So if you're of a deeper skin tone, this actually will probably work really well for you. But we're going to try it. I'm just going to dip in real lightly. Just gonna dip in some more. It's definitely a little too gold for me, but that's okay. If I go in real lightly, it's not that bad. But it's nice to see a brand actually putting some out for deeper skin tones. Okay, so I'm going to pop off camera and finish up my hair and come back and show you the finished look. Okay guys, so here's the finished look using the Colourpop and the Honey palettes. As you can see, very similar looks. So the only thing that I will say is if you're someone who is sensitive to scents, you might not care for the Wet n Wild collection because it is scented. But other than that, like, they both perform really well. I didn't have a problem blending either one. And the shimmers and the glitter applied nicely with a brush. So the things I used from the Be Mine collection that were different, like I said, you know, the highlighter, I can use it, but I have to go very light-handed because it's more for a deeper skin tone, which is awesome. The lip set I really like. It's a good everyday color. Like I said, scented, so if you don't like a scent, it's not as bad now that it's been on for a little bit, so I will say that. And then the same with the facial mist. Like, I don't smell it now, but when you first apply, they definitely have a big fragrance. So like I said, if you wanted the Honey palette and you couldn't get it, and you wanted something that is definitely comparable, these were only $4.99 at Target, so definitely pick it up. Again, if you would please like and subscribe below, it really helps my channel and I appreciate it. And till next time, bye guys.